Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So today's topic is how did Ganga Devi appear on this earth planet? Everywhere in India, wherever we go, Ganga Devi is always represented. And millions of liters of water is flowing. And we see so many temples on the banks of Ganga. We see so many holy places on the banks of Ganga. But who is this Ganga Devi? It's very important for us to understand. So in every Puran, there is mention of Ganga Devi. In every Upanishad, there is mention of Ganga Devi. So it is almost that the Puran and the Upanishad is not complete unless it mentions about Ganga Devi. In the 10th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Srotasam Asmi Janhavi. About the holy places I am Janhavi. And even in the Bhagavatam in Uddhav Gita, 11th canto it is mentioned, Tirthanam Srotasam Ganga. Of all the holy places, I am Ganga. So basically, Krishna is also saying that this Ganga river is not an ordinary river. The water of Ganga is basically Charana. So there are three stories. There are three different stories about who is Ganga. So the scriptures, one way in which Ganga appeared in this world is when Vamandev stood on his right foot and he expanded his left foot. So that foot went and it pierced the covering of the universe. And the water from outside, Karmadak Sagar water, it started pouring into the hole. 2 days back when it was raining in Varanasi, then somewhere in that roof there was a hole. And from that water. So similarly, when the universe shell was pierced by the nail of the toe of the left foot of Vamandev. So you get to see imagine how much was the size of Vamandev. And that pierced the shell of the universe and the water started coming in. And because that water touched the foot of Vamandev, so it acquired a pinkish color. And because it has touched the foot of Vamandev, so that's why it is Charanamrita. This is one story of how. Okay. Second story is when Vamandev opened his foot like this, then obviously it went to the higher planets. So it went next to Brahmaji's planet. And then Brahmaji said, oh, this is the lotus feet on which I always meditate. And today I am seeing that lotus feet, so I should do some bathing. So he had some water in his Kamandalu. And he poured that water on the lotus feet of Vamandev. And then that water, because it has touched the feet of Lord Vamandev, that is Ganga Devi. And there is a third very basic story that there is in the spiritual world Radha and Krishna were together. And for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna, Shankarji started playing instruments. So Saraswati Devi came there and she saw this beautiful sight. And Saraswati started singing the glories of Radha Krishna. Brahmaji also came there. Brahmaji saw, oh, they are having such a musical performance for Radha Krishna. Brahmaji started glorifying Radha Krishna. So Brahmaji is very intelligent. So when he started glorifying Radha Krishna, because Radha and Krishna cannot hear their own glories, they melted. And Radha and Krishna, where they were standing, they saw some water there, and that water later started flowing as Ganga River. So there are these three different stories in the scriptures about who is Ganga. It also mentions that in the spiritual world in Golok Vrindavan, just like there are many gopis, there is one Manjari, and her Manjari's name is Vara Prema. So that Vara Prema Manjari of the spiritual world has appeared in this world in the form of Ganga Devi. How does Ganga Devi look? Ganga Devi is very beautiful. She has white color and she is dressed beautifully, and her Vahan is crocodile. And she has two hands. In one hand she has a kumbha, and in one hand she has a lotus flower. And she has two mudras. Sometimes she has an Abhay mudra. So if you take shelter of Ganga Devi, then nothing can trouble you. And sometimes she also has a Varada Mudra. Varada Mudra means she is giving benedictions. So, long back, this is also mentioned in Ramayana as the appearance of Ganga, Srimad Bhagavatam as appearance of the Ganga. So as I mentioned, any holy book, if it has to be called a holy book, it has to mention, it has to talk about Ganga Devi. So many millions of years back, there was a king called King Bahuka. And this King Bahuka, very nice king, but all his enemies, they attacked him and took away all his possessions. So what can he do? He was already old by that time, so he could not fight. So he voluntarily took Vanaprastha and he went to the forest with his wife. And then when he was old in the forest, he died. So his wife, she wanted to Saha Maran with him, and she also wanted to enter the funeral pyre with him. But at that time there was one sadhu, his name was Aurva Muni. And this Aurva Muni, he understood that she is pregnant. She herself didn't know that she is pregnant. But Aurva Muni said, you are pregnant and you cannot kill your child in the womb. You want to go with your husband, but what about the child? So he didn't allow her to die. So now she is living. Now she had some co-wives. So these co-wives thought, no, we don't have a child. And she has a child. And if the child is born, then he will become very famous. So they wanted to kill the child in the womb of this wife of Bahuka. So they gave some poison. And what happened? That poison went inside and it did not affect the child. And the child was born without any effect of the poison. So in Sanskrit, poison is called Gara. And because he was born with poison, the poison didn't affect him. He is called Sagara. Sa means along with. So Sagara means he was born with poison. Does anybody know any story about Hanumanji like this? Before Hanumanji was born, he is born from Anjani and his father's monkey name is Kesari. So it was mentioned to Kesari by some sadhu that your son is going to be really very powerful and your son is going to be really famous. And this news also leaked in the forest. So at that time the king of that forest was not Sugriva, it was Vali. And then later we find that Ram killed Vali. So Vali, when he heard that, because he is the king, he is at the top. So whoever is at the top, and if they hear that somebody else is now going to go to the top, then what happens? In English there is a word called Grish. So Vali became really angry. How can he? So then Vali thought, I need to kill this child before he is born, so that he cannot compete with me. So then what to do? Then he thought, how will I give poison to the child in the womb of Anjani? He cannot straight go and kill the child. So then he thought of some kadha kind of a thing. So how many of you know that mercury is poisonous? Right? So in this way, he mixed 5 different poisonous substances along with mercury. And he created some kind of a kadha, some kind of a liquid drink. And it was looking very attractive, but it was deadly poison. The color was dark brown, and he called his dasi and said, you should take this to Anjani and tell her, the king has sent this very nourishing drink for you and you should drink it. And this dasi went and Anjani thought, oh, Maharaja Vali has sent something for my child, how nice is this king? And she took it. Now it was made in such a way that it will not destroy the mother. It will hurt only the child in the womb. So she also didn't feel anything. And now Vali is waiting to hear the news that something went wrong and the child is dead, but nothing happened. Then when the child was supposed to be born, he was waiting for the news that the child born is a dead child and somehow he was born like that. But nothing happened like that. So he was really intrigued that what happened to all that poison that I gave. And then the news came that this child is born and he's a very healthy child and he's a very smiling child and he's looking a beautiful child. What happened? So then Vali himself wanted to find out what happened to that poison. So when Vali came, Anjani had Hanumanji in her hands and Hanumanji was born with 2 earrings. So those 5 metals, these poisonous metals that he had mixed, Hanumanji used it, he didn't throw it out. and he made earrings out of it. Then Wali understood this person is going to cause me a lot of problems in the future. So similarly here also we find that although poison was given, but this child was born along with the poison. That poison didn't affect the this person. So his name was Sagara because he was born with the poison. And this Sagara, Sagar Maharaj, he became the king of Ayodhya. He had two wives. One wife's name was Keshini. Keshini was from the Vidarbha area of Maharashtra. She was really a very nice wife, always speaking the truth, always very loyal in her duties to her husband. And the second wife's name was Sumati. She was the sister of Garuda. But again, just like the father Bahuka did not have a child, and finally, he got this one child, Sagar. So Sagar Maharaj also did not have a child. And he has a very nice two wives. So what to do? There is a mountain called Brihu Prasravan. He went to this mountain called Brihu Prasravan and he did 100 years of intense tapasya along with his wives there. And at the end of 100 years of tapasya, Brihu Rishi, he appeared to him. And he said, what is your desire? He said, I want son. He said, you did such intense tapasya, you will get many sons. But you have two wives. So I will do it in one way, that one of your wives will get one child, but that one child will take your family lineage ahead. And the other wife will get 60,000 sons, but those 60,000 sons will not have the ability to take the family ahead. So now you decide which wife wants. So he asked. So the first wife, Keshini, she said that I want to be one son, but let that son continue the family lineage. And the other wife, Sumati, she took the benediction of having 60,000 sons. Then they returned to Ayodhya. So Keshini, after some time, she gave birth to one son. His name was Asamanjas. So Samanjas means understandable. And Asamanjas means you cannot understand him. That is what his name. And Sumati, as it was predicted, gave birth to 60,000 sons. So what was so ununderstandable about Asamanjas? Asamanjas, during his childhood days, when he would play with his friends on the banks of Sarayu, if there was some fight, if there was some disagreement, he would take that boy and throw him into the river and make sure that the child will drown. So in this way, anybody who won in any game with Asamanjas would throw in the river and make sure that he will drown. So in this way, one complaint went to the king, your son behaves like this. He didn't believe it. But repeatedly, day after day, all these complaints were going to the king, and one day he saw with his own hands, with his own eyes. There was some fight, and Asamanjas took that boy, went into the river, and threw him into the river and made sure that he will die. Sagar Maharaj thought, after doing such intense tapasya for 100 years, after Devi Rishi's Ashirvad, this is what I am supposed to get now. So he was so put off, he basically took that child and threw him out of the kingdom. He said, you are not my child, I reject you. But Asamanjas also understood that there is some reason why I am being thrown. So then Asamanjas revealed that actually, in his past time, he was a great sage. But he committed some mistake. And because he committed some mistake, he got this Asamanjas body. And then, just to prove that he was not doing anything wrong, he went to the river and he meditated. And as soon as he meditated, all the boys who had drowned in the river, they all came back out of the river alive. So he told his father, don't think that I am some harmful person. Actually, I am a sage, but there was a mistake, and that's why I had that curse that I had to behave in a very strange way. But meanwhile, you keep your kingdom with you. I am going to the forest. He went to the forest. So again, Sagar Maharaj got the shock of his life. The first shock of his life is his son is behaving in this way, and the second shock of his life is actually he is a very nice gentleman, and he has the power to bring people to life. But because he dealt with his son in a harsh way, that son went to the forest. So in this way, Sagar Maharaj is again now really very uncomfortable. But his son, before he went, Asamanjas, before he went, he had one son. His name was Amshuman. Now the king, because he wants to continue his lineage, he thought that he should perform Ashwamedha Yajna. So he started this Ashwamedha Yajna in the land called Aryavarta. Aryavarta means between the Himalaya mountains on the north and the Vindhya Parvat in the middle of India. So all that land is very holy land, Aryavarta. So he started this Ashwamedha Yajna, and as the Ashwamedha Yajna will begin, there is a horse that is kept, and he is worshipped. And then on the last day, that horse is sacrificed. So this horse's protection responsibility was given to Anshuman. And in this universe, whenever there is some Ashwamedha sacrifice, and whenever there is some horse sacrifice, or there is any special sacrifice, and by which, if that sacrifice is successful, and somebody will become strong, then again, the word that I used 2 times since morning, again it happens. What is that word called? It is called Dvesh. So who gets that Dvesh? It is Indra. Indra becomes uncomfortable. Indra says, what if this sadhu, he is doing so much tapasya, and then what if he gets some power and he will sit on my post? Then what about my power and my position and my control and all of that? So this Ashwamedha sacrifice is going on, and Indra, in a very hidden way, he came and he stole away the horse. So all the priests, they stopped the yajna and they said, unless this horse is gotten back, we cannot continue with the yajna. So first we get the horse. So then Sagar Maharaj, one son already gone to the forest, Asamanjas. And Anshuman is taking care of the horse. But he could not take care of the horse if the horse is gone. So now to get the horse back, what can be done? He has 16,000 sons from Sumati. So the 16,000 sons he calls and he says, actually this is a very purified place.
I don't think so light की बंदी ये बंद हो गया sorry you know I भी वो एसी चल रहा है क्या करो और वो वाला हाँ चल रहा है ये बंद हो गया ये भी बंद है लाइट बीच में ऑन ऑफ हुआ था उसके बाद आवाज बंद हो गया
Yeah, so where are we? The horse is stolen. And unless the horse comes back, then Ashwamedha sacrifice cannot go. So Sagar Maharaj, he cannot tell Anshuman to go because Anshuman has to take care of the horse. So he calls the 60,000 sons and says that you go all over the earth and you have to find out this horse. I cannot leave this because I am in charge of the sacrifice. And Anshuman cannot go because he has to take care of the horse. So you go. So the 60,000 sons, they are going all over the earth. They find out in all different parts of the earth. They cannot find the horse. And they are digging everywhere. So because they are digging, they are not really careful. They are just digging because they have been told to find out the horse. So the earth is also crying. There's so much digging till now nobody has done. Even when there is farming, so much digging does not happen. So the earth is crying, and the earth prays to Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma says that actually this earth belongs to Lord Vishnu. And if there is any challenge, then Lord Vishnu will solve it. You don't have to worry so much. So the sons of Sagar Maharaj, 60,000 sons, they tour all over the earth. They dig everywhere, and they come back and they say, sorry, we could not find that sacrificial horse. So Sagar Maharaj says, whatever it is, you have to find out the horse. That horse was here, it has disappeared, and it must be hiding somewhere. Do whatever you want to do, but I want the horse. I want to do Ashwamedha Yajna. So now what to do? Already they were little careless, and now they have been told, do whatever you want, but I want the horse. So now they really start digging deep. So it is mentioned that this whole material world at the bottom, there is like a plain kind of a thing, and below that there are 4 elephants in the 4 directions. So in Sanskrit, dik means direction, and gaja means elephant. So at the bottom of the universe, there are these 4 elephants who are holding the whole burden of the universe, and they are called Diggaj. So that's why in Hindi there is a saying, तुम कौन से बड़े दिग्गज हो. So what is the thinker? That the four big elements were handling the whole weight of the universe. So they go to the bottom, and in the eastern direction they meet the elephant. His name is Virupaksha, and he is so strong that even if he turns his head a little bit, then there is an earthquake up. So they ask him, "Have you seen the horse?" He says, "I have not seen the horse." They say, "Okay." Then they dig in the southern direction. In the southern direction, the elephant is there. His name is Mahapadma. They ask Mahapadma, "Have you seen the horse?" He said, "I have not seen the horse." Then they again go up and they dig in the western direction. In the western direction, the elephant is called Saumanas. And they ask, there is no horse there. So now there is only one direction, that is northern direction. Again they go up and dig in the northern direction. There is an elephant called Shvetabhadra. They ask that elephant, "Have you seen the horse?" He said, "I have not seen the horse." So now they start digging in the middle directions. East, west, north, south ho gaya. So now they start digging in the northeastern direction. When they go down, they come across Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni is third canto, Deva's son, Kapila Muni. He's sitting, his eyes are closed, he's meditating. And behind him they see that horse. So Indra is so very interesting personality. He stole the horse but did not take the horse to the heavenly planets. He found out that place where Kapil Rishi was doing tapasya and he kept the horse next to Kapil Rishi. For what reason we don't know. So the sons of Sagar Maharaj, the 60,000 sons, they see that the horse is near Kapil Muni. And already they are careless. Now their father also told them, "Do whatever you want, but I want the horse." So already they are intoxicated with power. Sometimes we want to do certain things, we want to behave in a careless way. But sometimes if we have been told that you should not behave in a careless way, at least there is some control. But imagine if you are already careless and then you are told, "Do whatever you want, but I want this thing to be done." तो फिर तो और अधिकार मिल जाता है, right? So now they are sons of a king. They are already careless and they have become ruthless by digging the earth. And how much did they dig the earth? The earth complained about her pain to Lord Brahma. And now they see a rishi there sitting silently. What do? They attack Kapil Rishi. And they say, "How dare you steal the horse of our father?" And Kapil Rishi does not even open his eyes also. But as they come in the direction of Kapil Rishi, because of the offense that they commit towards Kapil Rishi. Kapil Rishi is a saintly person, he is just doing his tapasya. And instead of checking with him, instead of asking him, instead of making sure what has happened, just because I am sitting here and then there is a horse here, does not mean that I stole that horse. But without checking and without making sure, they made an accusation on Kapil Muni and they attacked Kapil Muni. So what happened? As they are approaching Kapil Muni, they got burned to death. So how did they get burned to death? So according to Ayurveda, this body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and ether. So fire element is there. Now allopathy may not accept the fire element, but actually the body temperature comes from the Agni. There is some Agni in the body. In the digestion also it's called Jathar Agni. Jathar Agni means the fire of digestion. So the fire element in the body, because of the offense towards Kapil Muni, it became too much what the body can handle. And all their bodies got burned to death in a matter of a single moment. So now there is ashes of 60,000 sons of Sagar Maharaj. Right? Kapil Muni does not even know what happened. So he did not even understand what happened. So above, Sagar Maharaj is still waiting for the horse. Now the horse is also not come, and the 60,000 sons who went to find out the horse, they also did not come. So now what to do? Then he calls Anshuman and he says, "Anshuman, you search out. I sent 60,000 uncles and they did not come back. So now you please find out." But he tells Anshuman, there are many powerful beings on this planet. If you meet somebody great, you should offer respect to that person. And if you find somebody who opposes you, then you can kill that person. You take a bow and an arrow and a sword with you. With these kind of instructions, he again goes all over the planet searching for that sacrificial laws, but he doesn't follow that laws. So again, as he's looking around, he also goes to that eastern direction, Virupaksha. but he does not talk arrogantly with that elephant. He says, "My dear elephant, my uncles were searching for the horse which my father was, great grandfather was doing the Ashwamedha yajna. Have you seen that horse?" So just by the humility of Amshuman, this elephant said, "I don't know where the horse is, but I bless you that you will be successful." In this way, Amshuman went to all the four elephants, and all the four elephants said, "We don't know where the horse is, but we bless you that you will be successful." In this way, he is searching, and as he is searching, he actually reaches that northeastern direction, and he also sees Kapil Rishi, and he also sees the horse, but he also sees a lot of ashes there of burnt bodies. So he is thinking, a sadhu has nothing to do with his ashes and all that. So what are these ashes doing here? As he's thinking like this, Garuda appears there. Who is Garuda? Garuda is the mama of the 60,000 sons who are already dead. So as he's wondering, he asks Garuda, "What is this?" So Garuda says, "You don't worry about what his ashes are, because your uncles were killed for the right reason. There is no wrong reason for which your uncles were killed, but your uncles were burnt to death, and this ashes, उसको स्वाहा करना है तो पानी चाहिए." So he's looking for a body of water anywhere nearby. Garuda says there is no water body nearby, but because they were burnt because of an offense, ordinary water will be of no use for these ashes. Because they accused a great personality like Kapil Rishi about something that he had not done. So you have to get Lokapavani Ganga river which flows in the higher planets. Only that water, if it comes here, then it can purify these ashes. So he says, what to do? What should I do? So first he says, you go and beg blessings from Kapil Rishi who is standing here, who is doing tapasya here. So he goes to Kapil Rishi, and Kapil Rishi tells him, "I have no offense against you. In fact, I don't even know why they attacked me." So he takes blessings of Kapil Rishi, and he takes the horse and he goes back to his grandfather, and the yajna is completed. But because now the story has been told to Sagar Maharaj that your 60,000 sons were dead there, Sagar Maharaj as a father is thinking, what about the 60,000 sons? उनके लिए कुछ करना पड़ेगा. So Sagar Maharaj, after this incident of that Ashwamedha yajna, he ruled for 30,000 years, and after ruling for 30,000 years, he left this world. When he left this world, he installed Amshuman as the king, and Amshuman, he also wanted to bring that river for reviving the 60,000 uncles that he had. So he did tapasya for 32,000 years, and when he left, he installed Dilip, his son, on the throne, and he told Dilip, "We should do something for your forefathers." Dilip ruled for 30,000 years, and after he ruled for 30,000 years, still there is no sign about the river Ganga coming on this earth. So he installed Bhagirath Maharaj, his son, on the throne, and then he also went. Now Bhagirath Maharaj, he did not have a child. So he had a desire that he should have a child, but he said, more important than my desire to have a child is the desire of my forefather that my 60,000 uncles, they should be revived. So his whole life he did not even try to have a child, but he is focusing all his energy on fulfilling the orders of his forefathers. So he left for Gokarna Tirtha. Gokarna Tirtha is in modern day Karnataka. And in this Gokarna Tirtha he started doing tapasya. For 1,000 years he ate only once in a month. And he took Panchagni. Panchagni means you surround yourself by fire on all sides. And then there is Surya on top. So this is called Panchagni. So basically all fire all around you, and then the sun is also shining on your head. It's really intolerable. So he did intense tapasya, Panchagni, and eating once in a month for 1,000 years. And after this intense tapasya, Lord Brahma was pleased with him. And Lord Brahma asked him, "What do you want from me?" So Bhagirath Maharaj said, "I just have one desire. Let Ganga river, which flows in the heavenly planets, let it come here and let it touch the ashes of the 60,000 sons of Sagar Maharaj. I don't have a child, but I don't even want a child. All I want is my forefathers should be liberated. So Brahmaji said, yes, because your three generations have done intense tapasya just for bringing Ganga Devi down, it will definitely happen. But I have one request that if Ganga Devi comes here, her flow is very high. So you should also perform some tapasya to convince Lord Shiva to take care of her flow. Other than him, I don't see anybody else who can handle her strong flow. So now after 1000 years of tapasya, at least he got a boon that Ganga Devi will come. But when she will come, that is not good. One day she will come. But for that, he has to also please Lord Shiva. So then he worshiped Lord Shiva, and now he is offering tapasya to please Lord Shiva. Now Lord Shiva, one good advantage of Lord Shiva is that Lord Shiva is easily pleased. Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. So he can get busy. So Ganga Devi is pleased by the order of Brahmaji, and Lord Shiva is also pleased. Now Ganga Devi appears in front of Bhagirath Maharaj and says, I can come, but I have one question for you. When I fall from the sky on the surface of the earth, my force is so high, I am afraid I will make a hole in the earth and I will pass through the earth. So will it benefit your forefathers? This is my first question. Who is that person who can hold me? And second question is more deeper. She said, I am going to come to the earth planet, and after your forefathers, I will be still there. So for so many years after that, many sinful people, if they know that I am pure and I am Sharanamrit of the Lord, they will take bath in me. So for years and years, so many sinful people will take their bath in me, and I might get contaminated with the sins of so many people. So what about my deliverance? For your grandfathers, you are bringing me, but what will you bring for me if I get contaminated? So many times, we are concerned about our own benefit. We are concerned about what will happen to me, and we think that all these big devatas, they are free from this fear. All of us, we pray to Ganga Devi, but Ganga Devi is very frankly asking Bhagirath Maharaj, if I get impure, if I get contaminated by so many sins of so many people, what about me? And before we read this in the Bhagavatam, we may not even understand that great personalities like Ganga Devi are also afraid of sins. We think that Ganga Devi is just going to wash away everyone's sins, but what about, that the sins that will get accumulated in Ganga Devi? So she poses these two questions to Bhagirath Maharaj, and Bhagirath Maharaj, he does not answer those two questions one by one. He first answers the second question, because second question is more deeper. The first question is only that who will handle my flow, that can be arranged. In fact, Lord Brahma has already mentioned that only Lord Shiva can handle the flow of Ganga Devi. But the real answer that Ganga Devi wants is that what about me if I get contaminated by the sins that what about me? So what is the answer Bhagirath Maharaj gives? Bhagirath Maharaj says, those who are saintly because of devotional service and are therefore in the renounced order, free from material desires, and who are pure devotees, expert in following the regulative principles mentioned in the Vedas, are always glorious and pure in behavior and are able to deliver all fallen souls. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, the sinful reactions accumulated from other people will certainly be counteracted. For such devotees always keep in the core of their hearts the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can vanquish all sinful reactions. So one of the names of Krishna is Apapavidya. Apapavidya means there is no sin for Krishna. He cannot be touched by sin. He is the source of purity. So there is only one person who is not afraid of sin, who is not afraid of anything wrong. Other than Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, everyone is afraid, including Lord Brahma, including Indra, including all the other devatas. So now, if Ganga Devi is afraid of sins, what is the solution for that? Bhagirath Maharaj is saying, only the pure devotees of Lord Krishna when they bathe in your waters, then you can dump your sins on them. And because they are carrying Lord Vishnu in their heart always, they are never affected by sin. So Ganga Devi is purifying the whole world, but Ganga Devi, when she is afraid of her purification, then there is only one answer. The pure Vaishnavas, the pure devotees of the Lord, they are the ones who can purify even world. So in the Bhagavatam first canto, Vidur, he has not participated in the war, Mahabharata war, because he was through. And when he is doing his Tirtha Yatra, then during his Tirtha Yatra, he hears that Mahabharata war is over and 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were killed and only the 5 sons of Pandu survived the war. Everyone else was killed. So his whole life, Vidur was trying to instruct Dhritarashtra, don't do this. This is wrong. This is improper. Don't do this. But Dhritarashtra never heard him. So now Vidur, when he hears that news, that all the 100 sons were killed, he has a hope. He's thinking, when I told him that this will happen, he never believed it. But now, whatever I told it will happen has already happened. 100 sons were killed. For somebody to lose one child becomes unbearable loss. What to speak of Dhritarashtra having the pain of losing 100 sons? And that too, a father like Dhritarashtra who is very much attached to his sons, so much so that every single person told Dhritarashtra, you have to let go of Duryodhana only one son. If this one son you let go, then your whole dynasty will be saved. But this son has been born in your family just to end your family. But he has so much attachment for Duryodhana, Putra Sneha, that everyone is telling him, let go of this one son. He could not do that. Can you imagine Dhritarashtra has that kind of attachment for Duryodhana? So it is mentioned just before the Mahabharata war was declared, even so many sadhus came and told Dhritarashtra that let go of Duryodhana, don't be attached to Duryodhana, whatever he says, just keep quiet, don't do what he says, and your family will be saved. And it is mentioned that Maitreya Muni, he came there and one day he directly instructed Duryodhana, he said, just give up your dvesh, just give up your envy. They are already doing what they are doing, they are not even interfering in your kingdom. You are managing your kingdom, they are there, why are you having so much envy for them? So at that time, sometimes we also do that. When we are not interested in listening to somebody, we start fidgeting. Fidgeting means, we'll break our fingers like this, or sometimes we start shaking our legs like this. Have you seen somebody like this? So Duryodhana started shaking his legs like this when Maitreya Muni is telling him, just give up your envy. Maitreya Muni understood this person is not even interested in what I am doing. So Maitreya Muni told him, you are fidgeting with your legs, these legs will be crushed. You are so proud of your legs, these legs will be crushed. And that's why Duryodhana, his legs, his thighs were broken. So anyway, coming back to this point, so Vidur has come back after the war in hopes that at least now Dhritarashtra must be very humble. And now if I tell Dhritarashtra that the aim of life is not to become a great king, the aim of life is not to rule over people, the aim of life is to surrender to Krishna, at least now he will hear. And that for that, Vidur comes back. So when Vidur comes back, there is a shloka where Yudhishthira glorifies Vidur by saying that my dear Vidur, saintly people like you are holy places personified. And why are you holy places personified? Because you are always carrying the Lord in your heart. And there the term that is used is, he says, Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. He says, actually there are some holy places like Varanasi, Ayodhya, Prayagraj and all. And there is a certain area on the earth planet which they cover. If you want to come to Varanasi, you will have to travel to Varanasi. Varanasi will not travel. Ayodhya will not travel. Prayagraj will not travel. But in that shloka it is described. Why is Varanasi very holy? Why is Varanasi purifying? Because it belongs to Lord Madhav, Hindu Madhav. This whole land, Anandavan, is the ownership of Lord Madhav, Lord Hindu Madhav. And then he gave some dana. So it is said, I'll tell that story also, that Lord Shiva, Actually, he's a very Virakta person. He's like a simple-hearted person. He doesn't want anything. He is just chanting his names, chanting Lord Vishnu's names, and he's there in the Himalayas. But he got married to a princess, Sati. He's a princess. She is the son of Prajapati Daksha. So she was not used to staying in a simple palace at all, in a simple place. So she wants some comforts. So after marriage to Sati, Lord Shiva's life changed. So then what to do? So when winter comes in Kailash, it's already Himalayas and like that. Whole year it is cold, but winter there, so Badrinath, Kedarnath and all those places, after Kartik they are closed and they open on Akshay Tritiya. So 6 months they are open from May to October, November, and after that 6-7 months they are closed. So can you imagine a princess is now married to somebody who stays in the Himalayas, and in the winter season, how that princess will be able to bear the cold season in the Himalayas? So Sati said, I cannot tolerate this cold. So he was looking for a place which is kind of, a winter holiday spot. People who stay on plains, they want a summer holiday spot. Why? Because it gets heated up. So गर्मियों के दिन में कहाँ जाएंगे? कोई तो ठंडी जगह पे जाएंगे, शिमला जाएंगे, मनाली जाएंगे. So those who are staying in the Himalayas, they don't go for a summer vacation spot. They want a winter vacation spot. So when Sati complained to Lord Shiva about the intense cold, and he was looking for a place which is very beautiful, at the same time which is not so cold. So this is why Lord Shiva came to Anandavan. And he saw this whole land belongs to Lord Vishnu, so he said, me and my wife, we want a winter spot, can you give us some spot? And then from Assi Ghat to Manikarnika Ghat, that land was given in Dhan to Lord Shiva. And from Manikarnika Ghat to that bridge that we saw at a distance, just after that bridge there is an Adikeshav temple. So from Manikarnika Ghat to Adikeshav temple, that land still belongs to Lord Vishnu. Vishnu, Kashi and Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he came here for a winter vacation spot. So there it is mentioned that first canto shloka that I was saying, the point that we were discussing was, why is Varanasi holy? Varanasi is holy because the Lord stays here. Why is Ayodhya holy? There are so many towns in Uttar Pradesh, but why is Ayodhya holy? Because Lord Ram stays there. Why is Mathura holy? There are so many other district places in Uttar Pradesh, but Lord Krishna stays there, right? So the same trees, the same land, the same wells, the same sky, the same everything is there, but the distinguishing factor is that the Lord stays there. That same Lord who made Kashi holy, that same Lord who made Ayodhya holy, that same Lord who made Mathura holy is staying in the heart of a pure devotee permanently. So is the pure devotee's body also holy? Just like you come to Kashi to get purified, by touching the body of a pure devotee, by taking the darshan of a pure devotee is also having the same thing. Just like you come to Kashi and then on the boat, he is telling me, "Ye Manikarnika Ghat," and everyone is looking at Manikarnika Ghat. Then he says, "Ye Gau Ghat," and then everyone is looking at Gau Ghat. So just by the darshan, Gau Ghat is purifying you. Similarly, the pure devotees of the Lord, when they are moving around on this earth, just by looking at the pure devotee who is carrying Krishna in his heart, that's also equally purified. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is telling Vidur that now that you were traveling for 30-35 years, you did not participate in the Mahabharata war. Where did you go? Where did you stay? And I am asking you because people like you who are carrying the Lord in their heart are basically mobile holy places. And such people who are mobile holy places, when they take a bath in Ganga, then Ganga gets purified. So this is the solution for Ganga Devi's fear. And the other question was, who can handle my force? So that Bhagirath Maharaj says, like a cloth woven on threads, in the length and the breadth direction, this entire universe, in all its latitude and longitude, is situated under the different potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of the Lord, and thus he represents the super soul in the embodied soul. He can sustain your forceful waves on his head. So these are the two answers to your two questions. Now, will you come So she says, I had these two questions, now I can come. So Bhagirath Maharaj has already received a boon from Lord Brahma. Bhagirath Maharaj has already satisfied Lord Shiva, and now he has also given the answers to two questions to Gangaji. So Gangaji now is increasing her flow and her speed also, and she landed on Lord Shiva's head. But still, because she is coming from the heavenly planets, she has a little bit pride. My force, my speed, nobody can handle. And who is this Lord Shiva who is saying that he can handle my speed? And Lord Shiva is also a very humble person, so Lord Shiva could understand that she has some pride. So what he did, he loosened his jata and he allowed Ganga Devi to come, and then he tied his jata. So Ganga Devi, she came inside, but उनको ऐसे फंसा दिया उन्होंने अपनी जटाओं में. So she went just round and round in this jata only, and she could not come out. So then she understood that I should not be proud, and Lord Shiva has made me humble. But the problem is, Ganga Devi became humble, but the original problem, Bhagirath Maharaj is not solved. Bhagirath Maharaj wants Ganga Devi to touch the ashes of his forefathers. That has not happened yet. So now what should Bhagirath Maharaj do? Now Bhagirath Maharaj again has to pray to Lord Shiva. My dear Lord Shiva, she has now become humble. So please release your jata so that she can come. So just to get Ganga Devi on this earth planet, how much tapasya has Bhagirath Maharaj done? And before Bhagirath Maharaj's father, Dilip Maharaj, how much he has done? And before Dilip Maharaj, Amshu how much he has done? And before that, Sagar Maharaj, how much he has done? So इतना सब तपस्या करके finally again he prays to Lord Shiva, the Lord Shiva releases her, and then it is mentioned there is a Bindu Sarovar in the Himalayas. That is the first point where the heavenly Ganga it touched the earth planet. And as soon as she touched, just like if I pour water here, then it sprays in all directions. So there were 7 streams that were formed from the Ganga. There were 3 streams on the east side. There were 3 streams on the west side. The east side streams were called Hadini, Pavani, and Nalini. And on the west side, the streams were called Suchakshu, Sita, and Sindhu. And the main stream, apart from the 6 streams, it started following Bhagirath Maharaj. So there's a huge stream of water, and Bhagirath Maharaj is sitting on a chariot, and Bhagirath Maharaj has a conch shell in his hand. The fall like that, and the chariot is going, and following the chariot, this stream of water of Gangaji is flowing. And there is a description of this. All the demigods, all the Gandharvas, they assembled in the sky just to watch the heavenly Ganga river flowing with great speed on the earth planet. And when the demigods and the devatas were watching the flow of Ganga Devi, it was appearing like there were many gold ornaments just floating in the sky because the sun was there and it was shining all, the whole sky is shining with all the golden ornaments of the devatas shining. And sometimes this stream of Ganga Devi would become broad, sometimes it would become narrow, and as it is flowing, white droplets of air were being blown in all directions, and it was looking really, really beautiful. And some sadhus who had heard about the glories of Ganga Devi, they said, we don't know how this Ganga Devi is coming here, but it's a good chance to get purified. And without any reason, they started taking bath. And there were many other criminals who were actually born in higher planets, but because of their criminal activities, they had been sentenced that you go and live on the earth planet with a short lifespan in which there is birth, old age, disease and death. And suddenly they found that this Ganga river which will flow on the heavenly planets is now on the earth. Without any reason, they also started taking bath in the river, and they also got free from the sins because of no reason. Just the fact that they were present there at that time when the river is flowing on earth, they took advantage of that and they also got free. In this way, Bhagirath Maharaj is going from the Himalayas towards the eastern direction, southeastern direction, and behind him is this river. As it is flowing, near Mayapur, there is a place called Janu Dweep, and in that Janu Dweep, there was the kutir of one rishi, his name was Janu Rishi. Now Janu Rishi is just doing his tapasya, and suddenly this Bhagirath Maharaj's chariot comes there, and this huge flow of Ganga river comes in, and Ganga river totally blows away Janu Rishi's kutil. So then Janu Rishi says, this is not right. So he drinks all the river in his stomach. Then again Bhagirath Maharaj is looking for it. This can't be nothing. Then he finds out that Janu Rishi has drunk all the water. Then again he gets down from his chariot. He says, my dear Janu Rishi, please don't do like this. Because me and my forefathers, we did tapasya for thousands of years. And our forefathers, 60,000 forefathers were born because of their offense to Lord Kapila. And we brought the Ganga river for them. Can you please release? He said no. So he said, no, she will be called as Jahnavi because she will be your daughter. So then Janu Rishi released the Ganga river from his ears. And again that Ganga river started flowing. And because of that, she got a new name called Jahnavi. And because Bhagirath Maharaj brought her, and she also has a name as Bhagirathi. In this way, the Devatas, the Gandharvas, the Sadhus and everyone, they are enjoying the flow of Ganga river, but finally she has not reached the place. So even today if you go to Bengal, there is a place called Ganga Sagar. So Ganga Sagar is that place where the Ganga river meets the ocean, and just near Ganga Sagar there is a temple of Lord Kapila. So Kapila Rishi was doing tapasya there. That was the place where the horse was there, and that was the place where the ashes were there. So finally Janu Rishi ye sab karke Bhagirath Maharaj then brought Ganga ji to that Ganga Sagar area, and there were the ashes of 60,000 sons, and the water came and it washed away the ashes of the 60,000 sons, and right in the presence of everyone, the sons whose ashes were there, and they were actually very kind of offensive to Kapila Rishi. They were all liberated, and they all went back to the heavenly planets, and from the heavenly planets they also went to the spiritual world. So at the end of this whole description, Shukdev Goswami says, Nahi etat param ascharya swardhunya yad ihoditam ananta charanam bhoja prasutaya bhavachita. Because Mother Ganges emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ananta Dev, she is able to liberate one from material bondage. Therefore, whatever is described here with about her is not at all wonderful. He says, don't even get a doubt that what is so special about this water, that this water touched the ashes of somebody who is very offensive to Lord Kapila, and that's why that person got burned because of the offense. Even Ganga Devi touches the ashes of such a person, that person will also go to Vaikuntha. That is the power of Ganga Devi. Why? Because Ananta Charanam Bhoja. She is flowing after touching the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And just like Lord Vishnu's name has infinite power, just like Lord Vishnu, so the Charanamrit of Lord Vishnu also has infinite power, just like Lord Vishnu. Don't doubt my words. And when this happened, then Lord Brahma appeared there, and Lord Brahma said, your grandmothers will stay in heavenly planets till there is water in the sagar on the earth planet. She will be known as Bhagirathi, your daughter. She will be also known as Tripathaka, Divya, and Bhagirathi. Now you can do tarpan to all your forefathers. You should do tarpan to Sagar, Anshuman, Dilip. All of them combined, they did tapasya, but they could not bring. But Bhagirath Maharaj, you are so amazing that the final reason why Ganga Devi came on this planet is because of your tapasya. So because you have brought Ganga Devi here, you have also gotten a place in Brahmaloka because of this seva. And now my request to you is, you yourself should also take a bath in this river. Till now, Bhagirath Maharaj himself did not take a bath in that river. He's just so selfless. And after doing Matapasya, everyone is taking bath in the river, but he didn't take bath in the river. He said, no, my duty is to first take the river for my forefathers. And only on the order of Lord Brahma, finally he took a bath. And then it is mentioned, anybody who hears this story of the coming of Ganges river on the earth planets, all their desires will get fulfilled, all their sins will get destroyed, the duration of their life will be increased, and their fame will be spread in all directions. So, it took 3 generations of Anshuman, Dilip and Bhagirath Maharaj to get the Ganga down Similarly, we see how in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, actually there was Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It was his desire that the knowledge of Lord Chaitanya's teaching should spread all over the world. He tried to his best ability, but he could not completely get Jnana Ganga throughout the world. Then he gave that responsibility to his son Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati conceived of an institution. For the first time, he called it Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. And that institution also could not go beyond India and maximum to Burma. But he took the order of his father and he took it ahead. And then his son, spiritual son, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he took the vision of his grandfather and the desire and the plan and the outline of an institution by his father and actually took the Jnana Ganga to the whole planet. So just like it took 3 generations for this Jala Ganga to appear on the earth, it took 3 generations of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for the knowledge, Gita Ganga, the purifying knowledge of the Ganga, of the Gita to spread all over the world. And now the humble disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, they are spreading the Gita Ganga, the Bhagavatam Ganga all over the world. So we have a choice when we pray to Ganga Devi. We can pray for material things also. We can pray good health and all that. And Ganga Devi can do that. But Ganga Devi is basically Charanamrita of Lord Vishnu. So it is said, like we are told that when we offer bhoga to the Lord, we should never offer bhoga directly to Krishna. We should offer to our Guru. Then our Guru offers it to Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada through the Guru Shishya Parampara offers it to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requests it to Radharani. And then Radharani offers it to Krishna. That's how it is accepted. So, just like our prayers go to the Guru Shishya Parampara, the mercy also comes to the Guru Shishya Parampara. Similarly, just like Ganga Devi is bringing the Charanamrita of Krishna to us, but in one sense, from the foot of Vamandev to us, that water river is flowing. So if we touch our hands here in the Ganga in Varanasi, and we are in our eyes, in our mind, we are saying that, can I touch the feet of Lord Vishnu? So just like Bhoga is offered to the Parampara and the mercy also comes to the Parampara, Ganga river is basically connection between our hands and Lord Vishnu's feet. So the downward connection is the water connection. But you can also understand that there is an upward connection. And the upward connection is anytime you put your hands in the Ganga river, and if you have the right consciousness, it is like touching the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. If I touch the socket here and the switch is on, what happens? I get a current. But I am just touching the socket. But the socket is connected to the mains. Similarly, Ganga Devi is kind of a wire made up of water. On the other side of that wire is the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And on this side of the wire is our hands. So, if we are touching the Ganga river, it is like touching the river. Ganga is like touching the feet of Lord Vishnu. So when we touch the feet of Lord Vishnu, what should we ask for? We can ask for material things, but the devotees, they don't ask for material things, they basically ask for, can I get Shuddha Bhakti for Krishna? Can I get Shuddha Bhakti for Vishnu? That is the best prayer that we can offer to Ganga Devi. And in this way, Ganga river is still flowing out of the blessings of Sagar Maharaj, Amshuman Maharaj, Dilip Maharaj, and Bhagirath Maharaj. I'll tell you some stories about how Ganga Ji is extremely merciful. So, there is a story of quick stories. There is in Skanda Puran, Kashi Khanda, there is a story of one person called Vahika. This Vahika, he was addicted to gambling. He had killed a cow and he had also kicked his mother several times. So he was the most sinful and the most evil person. One day he was killed by tiger, and the soul of Vahika was brought to Yamaraj. And Chitragupta was reading out his history. In his whole life, he had not done even a single virtue. And as his history is being read out in front of Chitragupta, Chitragupta is thinking he has to go to several hells for millions of years. But as Chitragupta is thinking like this, suddenly what happens is this Vahika's body was there on the earth. The soul was brought in front of Chitragupta. That body was being torn apart by vultures. And one vulture, he took up a bone of this Vahika and started flying. And as he's flying, there's another vulture that came. And that vulture started fighting with this vulture. And in that fight, the bone of Vahika fell down into Ganga River. And just because the bone of Vahika fell down into Ganga River, Chitragupta was told, don't speak a single word about Vahika, and Vahika went back to the spiritual world. There is a story in one Puran how Garuda, Vishnu Vahan, he caught hold of a snake, and then he thought, now I am going to feast on this snake. And how is the snake's body? The snake's body is long. So the tail of the snake was hanging like this, and Bichara, he was in the grip of Garuda, so he was really in fear, and he was thinking, anytime Garuda is going to chant Mahaprasade Govinda and he is going to eat me now. So he was not even moving. So when he was not moving, his tail is like this. And as Garuda is flying in the air, he flew over the Ganga river. And the tip of the snake that is hanging from the claws of Garuda, it touched the river Ganga. And as soon as it touched the river Ganga, because he was in fear, so there is no offensive mentality in fear. When we are in a difficult situation, then there is no offenses. Offenses are there when we are in a comfortable situation. So that fear factor took away all the offensive mentality of the snake, and the snake was praying, and his tip of the tail touched the Ganga river. So what happened? When you are offensive, when you are not offensive, when you are chanting the holy names of the Lord, then just like Ajamil chanted, actually he was calling out to his son. But he got purified by that Nama Bhas. So this snake also, in fear, he was in terrible fear and he was praying. And at that spot, at that time, the tail touched Ganga river, he immediately got a 400 form of Vaikuntha. And Garuda was catching this snake and he was thinking, now I'll have it. And then he looked down, he saw a 400 Vaikuntha form. How he can eat a 400 Vaikuntha? And put that 400 Vaikuntha form in his bag. And Garuda himself carried this snake back to the spiritual world. There is also the story of Kala Kalpa. In Treta Yuga, there was a Brahman called Dharmaswa. And this Dharmaswa Brahman was very self-controlled, peaceful, full of compassion. He was a knower of all the Vedas, he was truthful, he was free from anger, and he was also a friend of all. And above all qualifications, he was a devotee of Lord Keshav. Now one auspicious festival day, he went to the Ganges river and he had a pitcher of Ganga water and he is traveling with the pitcher of Ganga water. So as he is having that Ganga water with him, he saw an unusual sight. There was a shopkeeper, his name was Ratnakar, and he had done some business and he was returning after doing the trade. And he and this person called Kala Kalpa, they were sitting on an ox cart. And as they are returning, actually this Kala Kalpa is actually a Brahman by birth, but because of some bad association, his whole life was spent in wrong conceptions and wrong associations. So he was beating the bull of that ox cart with an iron rod. And Dharmasva saw that. And he is thinking, how can a Brahman beat a bull with an iron rod? It must be so painful to that bull. At that time, suddenly, this bull became so angry. Why is somebody beating me with an iron rod? So he put his horns into the eye sockets of Kalakalpa and he took out the eyes of Kalakalpa and he made big holes in the body of Kalakalpa. Basically, he killed Kalakalpa. And Dharmasva looked at this whole sight and he really became shocked. But he was such a kind-hearted person. Immediately, as Kalakalpa is dying, He took some Ganga water from his kumbha and he started sprinkling on that. And as he went ahead, he saw another strange sight. He saw thousands and thousands and thousands of Yamadutas were walking towards him. But some of the Yamadutas, their hands were chopped off. Some of the Yamadutas, their ears were cut off. Some of the Yamadutas, their nose was cut off. Some of the Yamadutas, their feet was cut off. All the bodies of these Yamadutas were smeared with blood, and their fingers and hands were tied, and they were crying in agony. So Dharmasva, he could not understand why are these Yamadutas like that. So he asked, "Oh my Yamadutas, why are you crying, and who cut off your hands and your legs, and why is there blood all over your body?" So he said, "You don't understand. Actually, Kalakalpa was such a sinful person. We had come to bind Kalakalpa. That was the death hour of Kalakalpa. It was destiny for Kalakalpa to be killed by that bull. But what happened? You were there. And as soon as Kalakalpa was killed by the bull, what did you do? You took some Ganga water and you started sprinkling on them. And as soon as you sprinkled Ganga water on Kalakalpa, Vishnu Dutas came there. And we had this long history of Kalakalpa, and we told the Vishnu Dutas, what are you doing here? We need to carry Kalakalpa to Yamaraj and give him punishment. And the Vishnu Duta said, don't you understand? Kalakalpa is completely sinless. And we said, do you know what is the meaning of the word sinless? His whole life he has done all kinds of sins, and he was saying he's sinless. He said, you don't understand, O Yamadutas. Just like Lord Vishnu is supremely powerful, the water that touches the feet of Lord Vishnu is also supremely powerful. And just by the sprinkling of a few drops of Ganga water on this Kalakalpa has become sinless. And when they heard this, the Yamaduta said, this is too much now. First you were lying that Kalakalpa is sinless, and now you are saying, just because this is some ordinary water, it touches the feet of Lord Vishnu, it has become as powerful as Lord Vishnu. We don't accept this. So they attacked the Vishnu Duta. The Vishnu Duta said, even if you don't believe us, it's alright. But you don't have any adhikar to blaspheme Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the master of this world, and he can invest his potency in a simple living now. Similarly, that same Lord Vishnu can invest his potency in the water that has washed his feet. How can you say that water that has touched Lord Vishnu's feet cannot become as powerful as Lord Vishnu? This is your mundane logic. So the Vishnu Dutas, they were already in an attacking mode to the Yamadutas, but when they blasphemed Lord Vishnu's power, they became really very angry, and just like Vishnu has Sudarshan Chakra, the Vishnu Dutas also has Sudarshan Chakra, which is like a smaller version of the Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra. All these Vishnu Dutas released their Sudarshan Chakra, and all these Sudarshan Chakras chopped off the heads, the hands, the ears, the nose, and the bodies of all these Yamadutas. And these Yamadutas were completely in pain. And these Yamadutas came in front of Dharmasva and said, this is the reason why we are here. So then Dharmasva, he understood that just by sprinkling a little bit of Ganga water on Kalakalpa, this Kalakalpa was completely sinless. So what did Dharmasva do? Dharmasva himself returned to the Ganga river, and he himself took a bath. And then he prayed, O Mother, you carry the dust of feet of Lord Krishna, who is the enemy of Kamsa. You are the greatest of all rivers, and your glories are sung even by Vyasa Rishi. You are the daughter of Janu Muni, and you liberated Saudasa also. Let me glorify Supreme Lord by chanting his names Achyuta, Narayan, Janardhan, Rama and Krishna, and your name also. What is the use of austerity, sacrifices, charity, chanting of the Vedic mantras, because only a few drops from your water release one from unlimited sins? May dust from your feet be on my head. May clay from your riverbed be on my forehead as tilak. May I constantly chant your names with love and devotion. It is difficult to go to the spiritual world, but your water is a staircase to go to the spiritual world. May my material sins get washed away by bathing in your waters. Foolish people think of you as ordinary, but please nourish me as your foolish servant. Lord Shiva holds you on his head, but he also knows your glories partially. Let me properly praise you and worship you. When Dharmasva, he offered all these prayers, Ganga Devi really became pleased, when Ganga Devi herself appeared in front of Dharmasva. She was seated on the crocodile. She was dressed in white clothes. She was fully decorated with ornaments, and she was as white as a kunda flower. Dharmasva immediately offered her his obeisance to Ganga Devi, and he asked for two boons. He said, "Let me die in your waters while recollecting and chanting your names. And please award liberation to anyone who chants these prayers of glorifying you." And she said, "Yes, I am pleased by your devotion, and anyone who chants these prayers 3 times in a day will definitely go back to the spiritual world." And then Ganga Devi disappeared. Dharmasva, after that day, he led a very pure life. At the end, he also left his body in Ganges water. And this story is told by Vyasa Rishi to Jaimini Rishi. And Vyasa Rishi says, if someone accidentally touches Ganges water, that person is also freed from all sins. But if someone intentionally and devotionally touches Ganga waters, I don't know what will happen. I repeatedly say, there is no other holy water than Ganga, since by touching her waters one attains the holy abode of Lord Vishnu. Then in Skanda Puran there is a Koti Tirtha story. After killing Ravan, Lord Ram desired to atone for the sin of killing a Brahman. So he came to the Ganga Madan mountain at Rameshwaram and he established a Shivlinga there. But he wanted to offer some water to the Shivlinga. So the best water is Ganga. So Lord Ram, he meditated and he dug a hole in the ground, and from the ground he evoked Mother Ganga. And that Mother Ganga was used to worship Lord Shiva. So even today if you go to Rameshwaram, then that Ganga river is there. Then even if you have a desire to go to Ganga, but even if you are not able to complete that journey, still what result you get, that story is also there. So there was a very dutiful king, his name was Satyadharma, and his wife was there, her name was Vijaya, and both of them, they died at the same time. Both of them were taken to Yamaraj, and before Yamaraj, their whole history was being studied. So they were very nice persons, but they had committed one sin. What was that? One time when the king was in the forest, then one deer ran to the king for shelter. And instead of giving protection to the deer, the king somehow took out a sword and killed the deer. And this sin was really very heavy. What is the sin? The sin is not of killing. The sin is when somebody comes to you for safety, asking for shelter, that time you become an exploiter of that person and you exploit that person. So that's like a serious sin. So they checked in their history, but this sin was there. As in millions of yugas, you will have to suffer in Asipatravan. Asipatravan means in that one there is a tree, and in that tree there are these swords, and the leaves of this tree are swords. So somebody is put up on the top of the tree, and then he is dragged down, and when he is dragged down, then all the leaves of the tree which are like swords, they cut on that body of that person. It's called Asipatravan. So for millions of yugas, you have to suffer in Asipatravan. And after that millions of yugas, you have to suffer in Vyagra Bhaksha. Vyagra Bhaksha means there is a tiger-like animal there, and then you are standing and all your hands are tied up, and the tiger-like animal will come and he will eat you up. This is the punishment that is given. And after suffering for millions of yugas in Asipatravan and millions of yugas in Vyagra Bhaksha, Satyadharma and Vijaya, they were born as two frogs. And why two frogs? Because the frogs, they are a very helpless species. So these two frogs, they were living on the banks of a river, spending a low life of eating insects. But one time, these two frogs, they heard a group of pilgrims, and they were saying, "हम तो जा रहे हैं गंगा जी के दर्शन करने के लिए." And they remembered that if we also go and drown ourselves in Ganga, because Ganga river is a very pure river, we can go back to the spiritual world. So these two frogs, they decided that we will go and drown ourselves in the Ganga river. And now these two frogs together are going in the direction of the Ganga river. On the way, they saw a snake. And that snake said, "Now I am going to eat you because I did not get any food since many days." So these two frogs said, "We'll tell you who we are. I was a big king. She was my wife. Just because one deer came to me asking for shelter, and I did not give protection to the deer, and I killed the deer. Millions of years I have spent in hell, and the last punishment is given to me that I am in the body of a frog, and you want to eat me, and both of us are requesting, please allow us to go. We want to drown ourselves in the Ganga river. So just like we got such severe punishment for not giving shelter to somebody who was fearful, you might also get that kind of punishment for not giving shelter to us who are very fearful and who actually want to go on a pilgrimage to Ganga river. The serpent said, what you are saying is true. I accept all that, but there is one problem. Whoever made these rules of karma, that same person has made a rule of bhaksha and bhaksha. If you want to kill animals, if some animal wants to kill another animal for food, then these rules of sin and punya and papa don't apply. So if I kill you for food, because I have not had any food for since many days, so if I kill you for that, the papa does not apply to me. So I am anyways going to eat you. And in this way, this serpent, he ate these two frogs, and these two frogs were chanting Ganga, Ganga, Ganga. They had a deep desire to go to Ganga. And as they were chanting Ganga, Ganga, the serpent killed them and ate them. At that very moment, Indra came with his chariot along with his wife, and he took Satyadharma's soul, put him on the chariot, and took him to heavenly planets, and gave him a seat, a half seat of the Devatas. And for millions of yugas, Satyadharma enjoyed on the heavenly planets. And after that, a celestial chariot came from Vaikuntha, and Satyadharma and his wife were carried to the spiritual world. So again, this story is also told by Vyasadeva to Jaimini Rishi. And Vyasadeva says, someone who repeatedly sins will not be purified by Ganga Devi. There are no restrictions regarding time to go to the banks of Ganga. It is possible to count the number of dust particles on earth, but not possible to chant the entire glories of Ganga. Just by taking one bath in Ganga, you can get liberation from the material world. And even if one thinks of Ganga, all miseries and afflictions are destroyed. But you have to do it in the proper consciousness. And in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is an incident with a person called Devanand Pandit. Devanand Pandit is a big scholar, and he gives some kind of a karma kandi or impersonal understanding of the Bhagavatam. He is giving big lectures of the Bhagavatam, but he never ever utters the word Vishnu. He will explain the Bhagavatam without Vishnu. How he does it, we don't know. But one time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his devotees are chanting in the area where this Devanand Pandit is there. And as he is giving a class, somebody says, oh Mahaprabhu, here is Devanand Pandit. And he is a big speaker on the Bhagavatam. And Mahaprabhu says, don't utter his name, because he gives improper understandings of the Bhagavatam. And then he speaks one story. He says, one time Devanand Pandit was speaking the Bhagavatam, and Srivas Pandit, he heard that Bhagavatam is being spoken. So he came and sat in the audience. And as Devanand Pandit is speaking some story from the Bhagavatam, Srivas Pandit developed some ecstasy. Srivas Pandit became emotional. And tears started coming from his eyes. And he was not even able to sit there properly. So Devanand Pandit, as he saw that Srivas Pandit is having tears in his eyes, he told his disciples that this person is causing some trouble in my Bhagavad Gita, throw him out. So the disciples of Devanand Pandit, they came there, they caught hold of Srivas Pandit and threw him out. And Srivas Pandit did not even understand that he was thrown out. Why? Because Srivas Pandit was deeply absorbed in the emotions of hearing the Bhagavatam. This incident was not reported by Srivas Pandit to anybody, because Srivas Pandit did not even understand when he was picked up and when he was thrown out. But because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the heart of everyone, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, later one day, he is there in that same area, and Devanand Pandit is coming from the opposite side. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you Devanand, you are a great offender to Srivas Pandit. And I tell you that you will never understand the Bhagavatam completely, because you have offended everyone. And that time, Vrindavan Das Thakur mentions that in this world, when there is a deity of Lord Vishnu, even the deity of Lord Vishnu, you have to do prana pratishta. It's a deity of Lord Vishnu, but you have to do particular rituals, and there is a proper procedure to be followed. And after you follow the proper procedure, then that deity is considered to be not different from Krishna. But there are 4 forms of Krishna in this world which do not require even an installation. He says those four forms are first is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, but it does not even require an installation. Second is this is Tulsi Devi. Tulsi Devi does not require an installation. Tulsi Devi, right from when she grows, she is holy, she is not different from Krishna. Third, he says this is Ganga Devi. Ganga Devi is always holy, not different from Krishna, does not require installation. And the fourth is this is a pure devotee. The pure devotee does not require an installation and is always carrying Lord Krishna in his heart. So Tulsi, Ganga, Bhagavatam and pure devotee, according to Vrindavan Das Thakur, they are not different from Krishna, they do not require any installation. So this Ganga Devi, if you are sitting in any part of the world and if you just mentally offer your namaskars to Ganga Devi, if you just offer your pranams to Ganga Devi, if you just remember Ganga Devi, if you just chant the names of Ganga Devi, if you touch the air, if you touch the wind that has touched Ganga Devi, even that also purifies you. Not to speak of actually taking a bath in Ganga Devi and offering her devotional prayers and actually seeing her as not different from Charanamrit of Lord Vishnu and actually praying to her that my dear Ganga Devi, all I want is that I should always remember the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu and just by touching the Ganga Devi is almost like touching through the current that is flowing the lotus feet of Lord Varanasi. So that is the supreme fortune that is available to all of us whenever we see Ganga Devi. Jai Ganga Devi ki Jai. So at the end, what we do is there is a Ganga Stotram and I will post it on our group and we can sing that Ganga Stotram. And after we sing that, we will end today's class. But we can all glorify Ganga Devi. Okay, so I have posted on the group. This is Ganga Stotram composed by Shripa Shankaracharya. Jai Shripa Shankaracharya. Devi Sureshwari Bhagavati Gange Tribhuvan Tarini Tarana Tarange.
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 Shankara Mauri Biharini Vimale Mamati Rastam Tava Pada Kamale.
Shankara Mauli Biharini Vimale Mamamati Rastam Tava Pada Kamale.
Bhagirathi Sukhadayini Matas Tava Jala Mahima Nigame Khyata.
Bhagirati Sukhdayini Mahasa Tava Jal Mahima Nigame Khyata.
Naham jane Tava Mahimanam Pahi Kripa Mai Mama Jnanam.
Jane Tava Mahimanam Hari Kripa Mahimama Jnanam.
Hari Pada Padya Tarangini Gange Hima Vidhumukta Dhavala Tarange.
Haripad Padya Tarangini Gange Hima Vidhumukta Dhavala Tarange.
Duri Guru Mam Drushtu Dushkruti Bharam कुरु कृपया भवसागरपारम्
गुरु मम दुष्कृतिभारम् गुरु कृपया भव सागर पारम्
तव जलममलं येन विधीतं परमपदं खलु तेन गृहीतम्
तव जलममलं येन निपीतं परमपदं खलु तेन गृहीतम्
मातर्गङ्गे त्वय्यो भक्तः किल तं द्रष्टुं नयमः शक्तः
मातर्गङ्गे त्वय्यो भक्तः किल तं द्रष्टुं नयमशक्तः
पतितोद्धारिणि जानवि गङ्गे खण्डितगिरिवरमण्डितभङ्गे
पतितोद्धारिणि जानवि गङ्गे खण्डितगिरिवरमण्डितभङ्गे
भीष्मजननी मुनिवरकन्ये पतितनिवारिणि त्रिभुवनधन्ये
भीष्मजननि हे मुनिवरकन्ये पतितनिवारिणि त्रिभुवनधन्ये
कल्पलतामिव फलदां लोके प्रणमयति यस्त्वं न पतति शोके
कल्पलतामिव फलदां लोके प्रणम्यस्त्वं पतति शोके
पारावारविहारिणि गङ्गे विमुखयुवति कृतकरलापाङ्गे
पारावार विहारिणि गङ्गे विमुखयुवति कृतकरलापाङ्गे
तव स्रोतः स्नातः पुनरपि जठरे सोऽपि न जातः
तव चेन्मातः स्रोतः स्नातः पुनरपि जठरे सोऽपि न जातः
नरकनिवारिणि जानवि गङ्गे कलुषविनाशिनि महिमोत्तुङ्गे
नरकनिवारिणि जानवि गङ्गे कलुषविनाशिनि महिमोत्तुङ्गे
पुनरसगङ्गे पुण्यतरङ्गे जय जय जानवि करुणापाङ्गे
पुनरतरङ्गे पुण्यतरङ्गे जय जय जानवि करुणापाङ्गे
इन्द्रमुकुटमणिराजितचरणे सुखदे शुभदे भृत्यशरण्ये
इन्द्रमुकुटमणिराजितचरणे सुखदे शुभदे भृत्यशरण्ये
रोगं शोकं तापं पापं हर मे भगवति कुमतिकलापम्
रोगं शोकं तापं पापं हर मे भगवति कुमतिकलापम्
त्रिभुवनसारे वसुधाहारे त्वमसि गतिर्मम खलु संसारे
त्रिभुवनसारे वसुधाहारे त्वमसि गतिर्मम खलु संसारे
अलकानन्दे परमानन्दे कुरु करुणामयि कातरवन्दे
अलकानन्दे परमानन्दे कुरु करुणामयि कातरवन्दे
तव तटनिकटे यस्य निवास खलु वैकुण्ठे तस्य निवास
तव तटनिकटे यस्य निवास खलु वैकुण्ठे तस्य निवास
वरविहनीरे कवठो नीला हिमवातीरे शरटः क्षीणः
वरविहनीरे कमठो मीना किंवा तीरे शरटः क्षीणा
अथवा श्वपचो मलिनो दीनस् तव नहि दूरे नृपति कुलीन
अथवा स्वच्छो मलिनो दीनः स्वहि दूरे नृपति कुलीन
भो भुवनेश्वरि पुण्ये धन्ये देवी द्रवमयि मुनिवर कन्ये
ओ भुवनेश्वरि पुण्ये धन्ये देवी कर्ममयि मुनिवर कन्ये
गङ्गासारिमकमलं नित्यं पठति नरो यस जयति सत्यम्
नित्यं पठति नरो सत्यम्
येषां हृदये गङ्गा भक्ति तेषां भवति सदा सुखमुक्तिः
येषां हृदये गङ्गा भक्ति तेषां भवति सदा सुखमुक्तिः
मधुराकन्ता पञ्जटिकाभिः परमानन्दकलिकललितभिः
मधुराकन्ता पञ्जटिकाभिः परमानन्दकलिकललिताभिः
गङ्गास्तोत्रम् इदं भवसारं वाञ्छितफलदं विमलमसारम्
गङ्गास्तोत्रमिदमवसारं वाञ्छितफलदं विमलमसारम्
शङ्करसेवकशङ्कररचितं पठति सुखितवरिति स समाप्तः
शङ्करसेवकशङ्कररचितं पठति सुखितवरिति च समाप्तम्
इसका ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ेंगे अभी O goddess Ganga, you are the divine river from heaven. You are the savior of all the three worlds. You are pure and restless. You adorn Lord Shiva's head. O Mother, may my mind always rest at your lotus feet. O Mother Bhagirathi, you give happiness to everyone. The significance of your holy waters is sung in the Vedas. I am ignorant and I am not capable to comprehend your importance. O Devi, you are full of mercy, please protect me. O Devi, your waters are as sacred as Charnamrit of Sri Hari. Your waves are white like snow, moon and pearls. Please wash away all my sins and help me cross this ocean of samsara. O Mother, those who partake of your pure waters definitely attain the highest fate. O Mother Ganga, Yama, the Lord of Death, cannot harm your devotees. O Janvi, your waters flowing from the Himalayas make you even more beautiful. You are Bhishma's mother and sage Jana's daughter. You are savior of the people fallen from their path, and so you are revered in all the three worlds. O Mother, you fulfill all the desires of the ones devoted to you. Those who bow down to you do not have to grieve. O Ganga, you are restless to merge with the ocean, just like a young lady anxious to meet her husband. O Mother, those who bathe in your waters do not have to take birth again. O Janvi, you are held in the highest esteem. You destroy your devotees' sins and save them from hell. O Janvi, you are full of compassion. You purify your devotees with your holy waters. Your feet are adorned with the gems of Indra's crown. Those who seek refuge in you are blessed with happiness. O Bhagavati, take away my diseases, sorrows, difficulties, sins, and wrong attitudes. You are the essence of the three worlds and you are like a necklace around the earth. O Devi, you alone are my refuge in the samsara. O Ganga, those who seek happiness worship you. You are the source of happiness for Alka Puri and the source of eternal bliss. Those who reside on your banks are as privileged as those living in Vaikuntha. O Devi, it is better to live in your waters as a turtle or fish, or live on your banks as a poor chandal, rather than to live away from you as a wealthy king. O goddess of the universe, you purify us. O daughter of Muni Janu, one who recites Ganga Stotram every day definitely achieves success. Those who have devotion for Mother Ganga always get happiness and they attain liberation. This beautiful and lyrical Ganga Stuti is the source of supreme bliss. This Ganga Stotram written by Adi Shankaracharya, devotee of Lord Shiva, purifies us and fulfills all our desires. Jai Ganga Stotram ki Jai, Jai Shiva Shankaracharya ki Jai, Jai Brahma Devi ki Jai. So,
Hare Krishna. First of all, thank you, Mr. Sanjal Prabhu, for giving us this wonderful glories of Shri Ganga Devi by 3 times loudly chanting. Hare Krishna.